Yeah, like the new setup. Well, to say, what's up, everybody? Hope everybody's day is going good. About to say, about to ride over here, hit this gym real quick. Quick words, as per usual. I haven't had much to say, but you ever sit there and wonder why we don't look out for each other? I mean, people in general. Fam will stab you in the back, friends will stab you in the back, and these are supposed to be the people that's supposed to be looking out for you. And in our time of need, obviously, nobody's there to be found. It's just interesting to see what people have to go through to realize who's in their corner and who's not. And the things they have to realize, and the things they have to go through to realize that you can't afford to be weak-minded out here, and you can't afford to be ignorant nowadays. You could never really afford to be ignorant. I would think so, but I mean, I'm only speaking my generation, my life, my livelihood, and those that are around me. You can't afford to be not caught up on things, to just knowingly ignorant, I should say, because sometimes, we use the word ignorant as an insult. Sometimes we are just ignorant. You just didn't know. But to knowingly and to continuously be ignorant after the fact, that's a choice. And you can't do that. You can't. You gotta be willing to learn, and you gotta be willing to accept being taught by individuals. You got to be willing to switch up your circle. You got to be willing to talk to people. You got to be willing to listen. I could talk all day, but at the end of the day, some of the things that I've learned and some of the understandings that I've come to know has obviously come. It didn't come from my own research, so to speak. Most of the time, it comes from word of mouth. Most of the time, it comes from a teacher, whether or not it be an older gentleman, a brother, whether it be my mother, whether it be my father, whether it be my little brother, whether it be my little cousins, whether it be, a queen, another king, whatever, the Bible, God, my own personal experiences. I mean, rarely do I have a situation happen and I come to a conclusion that I can say, yeah, that's, most of the times I'll have a situation happen and, I bring it to, obviously, as I spoke of in the other video, my liaisons, my counselors, those that I trust, And even if I bring it to somebody that I'm not going to say that I don't trust, I'm not saying that, but people whose word I respect and whose demeanor I respect, so I trust their judgment. Regardless if I agree with it or not, I still want to hear from a different point of view. I'll bring it to them. But these are the individuals that help me to get to a point where I can speak the way I speak today, and speak on things that I can speak today, and have the understanding that I have today. So with that being said, you got to understand, in order to learn, you got to listen. In order to teach, you got to listen. You got to start somewhere. And once you listen, like I said in another video, you have to be willing to bestow that knowledge on other people, to help other individuals. And I mean, when it comes to monetary gain, when it comes to quality of life, when it comes to building of character, sometimes I seriously don't think I do enough. And it could just be my own selfishness, because I feel as though I still have to get myself on my feet, get myself to a point where my affairs are straight before I can necessarily go out and try to help others' affairs and stuff. But as I always say, man, I help where I can. I don't know, though. Sometimes I wonder if it is enough. But I will say this. One thing no one can come to me and say, or if somebody can come to me and say, then I'll have to go back and reevaluate. But as of this moment right now, one thing I can say, no one can say they came to me, they asked me to evaluate a situation or give them some advice on something, regardless if I know the situation or not, regardless if I'm well versed in the topic, just my thoughts, first things that pop in my mind. No one can say, I'd be like, nah, son, can't help you with that. Or, oh, man, like, nah, can't do that, you know. Let me stop saying it like that. Make it seem like I'm being a real jerk. Even just to say, like, nah, man, and I do have my moments where I'm just like, man, I really just don't know. But if it's something that I do have an opinion on, it's something that I can bestow my viewpoint on and try to understand the other person's viewpoint, then by all means, let's have a quick debate. Let's have a quick conversation. I think people are scared to give their opinions on things nowadays, and I think people are scared to speak up when they have a stance on something. And I think, you know, you should speak up on things, speak out on things, bestow knowledge in a sense, because regardless of if you agree or not, look at what Hitler did and all that type stuff. Do I agree any way, shape, or form what Hitler did? No, but it's the knowledge. And that's a very extreme example I just gave, but, you know, I just want to drive home the point. You know, regardless of if you agree with something or not, you still need to look into it, you still need to research it, you still need to debate, you still need to listen, and you still need to understand. I don't agree with him. I'm just saying, going back, reading up on it and stuff like that, I'm like, this guy was a freaking psycho. But you know what? Let me give another example. Put it this way. If a person, so what I'm saying is, we all have a responsibility to bestow knowledge with each other. That knowledge could be key in, as I said, character growth, monetary gain. I didn't add spiritual growth, all of that type stuff. You're in the desert. You're fine. You have water. You were prepared. Something may have happened to you before where you said, holy hell, I can't go into this desert again without being prepared, without having enough water and then some, just in case something happens. I lose a bottle. I just get really thirsty and need to quench and just drink off some. But I have enough to get through this portion of land where there's nothing there. It's desert. You see the next traveler coming along, and the traveler is beyond dehydrated, on the brink of destruction. You wouldn't turn away a traveler. You wouldn't turn them away, would you? And if you would, you know, that's your decision. Then this video is for you. I don't think you should turn away that traveler, especially when you have the tools to get that traveler through, to help that traveler along. I think that's wrong. I think it's wrong to withhold information from somebody when you can help them grow, when you can help them move to the next level, when you can help them be a better man or woman, regardless of if they accept it or not. Because, you know, in the story, yeah, the traveler could say, I don't want it, I don't need it. Okay. That's your choice. You could choose to force the water upon them, or you could choose to let them figure things out. And it's just like that in real life. You can choose. I believe that you should always choose to bestow knowledge on somebody, to bestow wisdom on somebody. You should always choose to do that, to help your fellow man. Regardless, now if they choose to take the knowledge or not, if they choose to accept it or not, then that's on them. But I feel as though you did your part in the matter. Even as far as offering it, even as far as saying, hey, brother, sister, don't think you're moving wisely here. You need this water. You need this water to get through. I just came from that way. You need this. They choose to not take it. They choose to not take it. And you know, I do mean this in the sense of, you know, obviously no hidden agendas. Obviously, you know, you don't sow a seed. You don't sow a tainted seed. You don't give this person poisoned water in their time of need. You don't give a person poisoned knowledge. You don't do that. And there are people out there that do that, unfortunately. Or give half-truths. You know? Now, there's nothing wrong with giving a lesson inside the gem that you give, and to get people to think, to get people to understand, get people to grow, as I said, you know. When you give knowledge, it should be a goal attached to it. When you're sowing a seed, it should be a goal attached to it. I'm sowing this seed because I want you to succeed. And I want you to return this favor, regardless if it's me or not, to the next person. And then they sow that seed. And then they sow that seed. And they sow that seed. And same thing with knowledge. I bestow this knowledge on you so you can learn from it. You bestow the knowledge on the next person so they can learn from it. And they can learn from it. And they can learn from it. He can learn from it. She can learn from it. Them can learn from it. It can learn from it. Whatever. Knowledge is a hot commodity, man. When you have it, when you have knowledge on a particular subject, when you have knowledge on a particular lifestyle, way of life, same thing as lifestyle. Trying to find other examples. Just anything. When you have knowledge on something and, you know, a person is seeking, I just think you have a duty as the teacher to bestow what you've taken in your travels onto the next person. I think that's a responsibility we all should have. I think we all need to continue to push for knowledge. And in order to push for knowledge, we have to talk to each other. We have to read. We have to research. We have to inquire. We have to be puzzled. Curious. People tend to just want to, you know, stay to themselves and whatever. And I'm like that too, so I get it. But I think people need to be just more inquisitive, just willing to ask and not care whether or not they look a ways or not. Not care whether or not they're deemed as ignorant or seen as, you know, not know. Oh, you didn't know that? No, I didn't know that. What's the big deal? I didn't. But we have to get to a point where, you know, you don't care necessarily what people think about you because you want to grow as a person. See, I look at it like when I learn things, when I get some knowledge on a topic, get some knowledge in something, what's really funny is one of the first things I always think about is, you know, I can't wait to, you know, if somebody asks me a question on this, that way I can, you know, say what I've learned, say what I've seen. If I learn something, I automatically say, oh, I gotta go show my brother. You know, I gotta go show Pierre. You know, or I make sure he understands this as well. Maybe he sees something I wouldn't. You know, something, it always crosses my mind. And even him, he'll see something. He'll still ask me for my input my knowledge on certain things, and I'll give my input. And it could be something that he knows more than I do, but he just wants to hear my point of view. And you know, sometimes that's really all it is, you know. It's just hearing another person's point of view. See, I can be stuck in my ways, and I can be set on one path. But in order to do that, I gotta just not hear nobody else. I gotta not take anybody else's word. Nothing. And I can't do that. I can listen. I can understand. I may not agree, like I said. And you may not agree. But when you hear it, you don't have an excuse to be willfully ignorant anymore, because you heard the other side. And you're given the opportunity to reevaluate the way your mind is processing things. And if, you know, you're quote-unquote right, or you quote-unquote knew it already, then, you know, it's all good. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong. There's another thing, too. That's why sometimes I don't want to do videos because I feel like I'm repeating. There's nothing wrong with repeating knowledge. There's nothing wrong with repeating understandings, and there's gems. Because the funny thing is, people think that once you get wisdom, excuse me, let me take that back. People think once you start to gain wisdom and gain understanding on particular things, that it just well, I mean, I guess some people is like that. With me personally, I like to be reminded. I have read Proverbs up and down from the Bible. I've read Proverbs up and down. How would it be if I said, oh, I don't need to read Proverbs anymore? I already read it like 3 times. I don't need to read it. No. I still, you know, anytime my spirit moves me to open Proverbs back up and just look over something, I'll look over it, because, you know, maybe you need a refresher. Maybe you need a reminder. Don't ever think just because you knew something already, you don't need to hear it again. You never know. Somebody literally could be telling you, you literally could have known that the story went from A, B, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P. But, and you know, and it's just that one person that's telling you A, that's telling you B. And some people will be like, I already know that. I already know it. I already know it. I already know it. I'm good. All right. Yeah, I knew that already. A, B, D, E, F, G. You know what I'm saying? But then this person says, no, A, B, C. And you're like, C? No, I know this already. No, son, hold on. C. You didn't get the C. You missed it. You forgot it. It happens. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't feel no way if you got to sit there and hear a lesson again. Understand it again. Because the same way I read Proverbs when I was 18 is not the same way I read Proverbs now that I'm 29. The same way you thought you knew that lesson at this time, you could see it a little bit differently now. Obviously based upon experiences and stuff. So, you know, that's all I got to say. My mind literally went blank. Okay, I said everything I had to say. Oh, man. I need to start writing some journals or something, man, because my mind just be going, I'd be like, get it out of my head. But we got to be willing to take knowledge. We got to be willing to seek it out. We got to be willing to teach it. We got to be willing to listen to it. We got to be willing to reevaluate, go back through, be reminded. Don't worry about being thought as ignorant. Got to be willing to help each other, man. For real. For real. Got to be willing to help each other. All right? Breeze out, man. Hope everybody have a good night. Stay blessed. Love y'all, man. What else can I say? I wouldn't do these videos if I didn't.